All right, so I still haven't got this out for a test drive yet. I couldn't pass a DOT air brake pre-trip inspection on it. Had massive air leaks, so we rebuilt the engine on it, but I've never done anything mechanically to the bus whatsoever. So we're gonna, we've been looking at the air leaks on it, and then because it got towed, it had the axle shaft pulled, so we got to put new gaskets on the axle shafts, and then we ordered a couple of other parts. But we're gonna go through it here and see what else we need to do before I can take it out a test drive. So on the pit today, checking out the airbags. There's a big leak in the suspension back there. So we're gonna look for the leak, if it's a leveling valve or the airbags or what, but it airs down quickly, especially on the right side, but both rears come down pretty quick. So it looks pretty clean, and I don't see any oil leaks. That's a good start. So it doesn't have a working oil pressure gauge on the dash, and I do not want it to be driven at all with the new engine in it with no oil pressure gauge working. So we got to figure out why this isn't working and get it going.
Turn that switch on. Turn the key on. The sending unit, the sender is disconnected on it right now. It's just the ignition and the ground on there.
We'll get these new axle shaft gaskets on here so it doesn't leak oil when we take it for a test drive either. None of them are loose yet?
No.
Hit it harder. That's. There it goes. Definitely the top right one is loose. Pliers should spread it open where it wants to come off of there.
I've never.
That's sparkly.
Huh?
Is that all sparkles coming out of there?
Oh,
That's sparkly. That's very sparkly. Gear oil coming out of there.
Definitely have a bearing problem. This is the other side, and it is sparkly as well. The lighting's not as good over here. We took it off to replace these gaskets. I didn't know if they were torn or not from the toe. Yeah, they look pretty crappy. Yeah, that would have leaked for sure. Yeah, the tow company had these out, and I can see there's a big section of the gasket missing there, and it's torn there. That would have leaked just going down the road. I told him we need to. I know he doesn't want to put any more money into this thing right now, but I told him we got to pull these axle shafts because the tow company had them out and they didn't get new gaskets on them, and that was going to leak for sure. It's a little bit of old rust and stuff on the axle shaft there. Splines look good though. Just touching up the paint on the wall. We cleaned it and it doesn't come very clean. Keeping that work area clean is hard, but we spruced it up a little there with some paint, and we cleaned off the parts washer, the thing that just collected junk. So it's looking better. It looks good with that wall behind that workbench there that just got so nasty. Looks much, much better. Once we saw that metal coming out of there, I told the owner, we have to go in there and look at these bearings and see what's going on. So we're gonna pull the hubs and take a look at the bearings. Definitely had a wheel seal leaking. Not horribly, but it's just starting. Lots of metal in the oil sparklies. Yeah, it's just starting to get the spalling real bad on it. It's had a lot of crap going through it. Look at all that wear. See where it's shiny? That's how it's supposed to be, and then it's all dull here. How much out of adjustment was this wheel?
Like over a quarter turn.
Yeah, so it was way loose. And this has just been apart, I don't know time-wise, but mile-wise, this is all brand new. It looks like it had a leaky wheel seal. They put a brand new wheel seal in it. They put new brake shoes on it, and then put it together, and whoever did it did not adjust the bearing properly. And then this side was crazy sparkly, and you can see the race. You're not supposed to have it's not supposed to be two-tone. I don't know if I can get in close on the surface, but it's starting to spall. It's the magnet on the diff plug working overtime. Whew. That's a lot of metal.
All right, we got the front bumper put back on. That was removed for the towing too, so starting to look pretty again. All right, we're just waiting on a few parts to come in now. So that gauge, we're ordering a gauge set for it, the oil pressure gauge and the sender. With or without the sender hooked up, the gauge is messed up for sure. So we're gonna replace that. Leveling valve in the back is leaking, and the tag low air pressure sensor is going on, alarm is going off all the time, and it's leaking oil, leaking air, excuse me. The sensor's bad, so we got that sensor coming in. As soon as those parts come in, we should be able to take it on the test drive. This bus probably needs a full thorough inspection. If it was mine, I would go through and do all the hubs on it, take a look at everything, see what else is going on. And I said, all we've done is engine work on this thing. We didn't do anything, and then it just wasn't safe to drive it. I refused to drive it, and the owner shouldn't be driving it in that condition either. So we got the major air leaks fixed up. We're gonna get all the brakes adjusted on it. I drove it up and down the hill. It's the worst braking bus I've ever driven. And it had new brakes on the one side. These are fancy slack adjusters. They're auto. It's like the first generation of auto slacks. You got to be careful how you adjust them, and so we'll go through and adjust them on the pit before we take it for a test drive too, because it was pretty sketchy going down the hill. I'd never been scared of driving a bus down our hill before until this one.